What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today we've got another live fantasy football mock draft for you on FantasyPros. This is a 12-team full PPR mock where we will be drafting 6th overall, right smack dab in the middle of it all. Our roster: 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, a flex, and then 5 bench spots. But that's pretty much it, so let's kick this thing off. While we wait, a quick reminder: if you enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter, @AllDayPigskin, to continue trading with us there. Let us hear it in the comments, your thoughts, along with any questions you guys might have. We'll do our best to answer them all. But with that said, let's kick it off. And we are looking at the following: Jamar Chase, Bijan, Saquon, Justin Jefferson, Jahmyr Gibbs. At the 106, we have the chance to take CeeDee Lamb. Now, a lot of people are going to tell you that the Cowboys are going to be throwing the hell out of that rock, especially with their defense taking a hit with the departure of Micah Parsons. So, I mean, I don't disagree with that. I also wouldn't mind pairing CeeDee Lamb with Dak Prescott in the later rounds. Kind of defeats the purpose of targeting George Pickens at a later point in time. Part of me was like, man, maybe I could go with a, Christian McCaffrey or something like that at this point. But I feel like if I'm going value, CeeDee Lamb is the unquestioned guy. So let's go with our boy CeeDee Lamb here, and then we'll figure out the rest, right? So the draft board: McCaffrey immediately after, Genty, Amon-Ra, Malik Neighbors, Puka, Nico Collins, Brian Thomas, Achane, Derrick Henry, Drake London, Bucky Irving, and Chase Brown. So I'm not going to be taking a tight end here, so Brock Bowers can be the top suggestion as long as he wants, but you ain't coming to the squad. Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor is where I am looking. Probably leaning Josh Jacobs a little bit more so due to the pass catching ability. So let's add Jacobs to the squad and then see what's available to us in the third round. So yeah, we got CeeDee Lamb, we got Josh Jacobs, Bowers, AJ Brown, Jonathan Taylor, Ladd McConkey, JSN, T. Higgins, McBride, Kyron Williams. I was hoping he'd be there for us. Goddamn. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. All right, so pulling up our cheat sheet, we have got the likes of James Cook, Alvin Kamara, Kenneth Walker, Omarion Hampton, wide receiver Garrett Wilson, Tyreek, Devontae Adams. Here I'm probably looking at Alvin Kamara, Kenneth Walker. James Cook, I just think that there's going to be a lot of potential regression due to the touchdowns. Tyreek Hill, he just scares me a little bit. I saw the signs of decline last year, and injuries to his quarterback. I'm going with, I think, Alvin Kamara here. Hopefully he's force-fed the football as a pass catcher, and we get solid performances from him. I don't need him to be a RB1. High-end running back 2 will get the job done. So let's look at the draft board again. It was Hampton, then James Cook, Tyreek, Travion Henderson. I was kind of hoping Henderson would fall to us. He doesn't. Garrett Wilson, Kenneth Walker, Devontae Adams, Brees, George Kittle, Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin, and Joe Burrow. So here, unless a running back that I really like is still on the board, Chuba, James Conner, I'd rather go with an upside guy here of Marvin Harrison that I am a fan of. I'm not going Jalen Hurts. I will wait on quarterbacks. So let's go Marvin Harrison. I like that situation for us. Ooh, and a guy that I really like, DK Metcalf, is still there. I feel like DK Metcalf is another one of these wide receivers where they're split on. Either they're like completely out on, or they are really, really high on. So, like, which camp do you fall in? I think DK is going to see a lot of targets. I know that Arthur Smith is there, which is a little bit worrisome, focuses on the run. But, like, I think the Steelers are going to have to pass the football. Like, it's not going to be just run the football. You got to air it out. I think DK Metcalf is going to be the guy. But let's look at other options before we get ahead of ourselves. Tony Pollard, DeAndre. Okay, well, that was quick. We're not going running back. Right? Okay, yeah, we're not going running back with Pollard, Swift, or Pacheco. McMillan is tempting here for the Panthers, especially with Thielen out. I think you could say Coker is, somebody that's, especially getting the slot play, going to be a better value. So I'm looking at him. I think I'm going DK Metcalf here at this point in time. I'll take a chance on him as my wide receiver 3. I feel good about that. And here, like at this point in time, George Pickens is an insane value, but I've already got CeeDee Lamb. I can't completely like load up on the Dallas Cowboys offense, especially if I want to get what do you call him? Dak Prescott. So I mean, I'm going to highlight the fact that it's a great value for George Pickens in the 6th round, but I'm not going to select him because I'm not just going to run the entire Dallas Cowboys offense out there. So Tet, Devonta Smith, DeAndre Swift, Pollard, Zay Flowers, and Njoku, Pat Mahomes, Hawk, Calvin Ridley, Kelsey, Laporta, Jamison Williams were the picks after our selection. So like right now we're drafting in the middle of this thing. So guys that potentially drop, we have a chance to nab up. I think Pacheco right now could be a decent option, especially with Kareem Hunt, a little bit banged up, another year older. So I'm looking at Pacheco. I'm looking at Tyrone Tracy, Rome Odunze, also another guy that I've been on record saying that I like. But I think I'm going Pacheco at this point. I'm not looking at quarterbacks. Yeah, let's go Pacheco. And now, like the running backs, it's mostly, backups that with high upside or handcuff stuff like that. Odunze is still there. I probably lean Odunze, honestly. If I was going running back, I think I could potentially get Austin Eckler in the next round. Let's see if we can do that and get Odunze here. Yeah, let's do that. Where are you, Odunze? There you are. So yeah, we scoop up Odunze, and then let's see what happens with the running backs. So, pulling up the cheat sheet, Eckler is still there. I specifically mentioned him. I've said it before that I don't think the Washington running back situation is going to be as clear-cut as some people think. Like, look, I get it. You've got all the Twitter folks and their feelings about certain rookie running backs and what they see in the preseason. Eckler, he's older, not as sexy anymore, but guy can still catch the football. It's a full PPR league. I think there's something to be said about that. That's the way I'm leaning at this point in time. So I just want to add depth to that position. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. Let's see if we, quote unquote, made a mistake with some of these guys that were drafted afterwards. No, not necessarily. Some tight ends went off the board in Ingram, in Mark Andrews, Tyler Warren. So, yeah, I was hoping Warren could make it to us. That wasn't the case, but it's all right. We'll find another tight end. Brian Robinson, Quishad Chicken, Joe Mixon, Rashad White, Diggs, Ingram, Depot. Yeah, Mark Andrews, Tyler Warren, Najee Harris. So how many teams have quarterbacks at this point in time? This guy doesn't. Yes, yes, yes. I don't. Yes, yes, yes. No, yes, yes. So maybe if I wait on a quarterback here, don't select Bo Nix, and wait for Dak Prescott in the next round, I think that could be a little bit better. Braylon Allen here I think is really tempting. I really, really do. I probably go Braylon Allen. Like, I could see him being the starter for the New York Jets, honestly. I'm going Braylon Allen. Yeah, scoop him up. Yeah, Bo Nix got drafted. That is fine. I'm going to go Dak Prescott. I'm going to scoop him and have him paired with CeeDee Lamb. I like that situation for us. Yeah, right. Let me double check that at this point in time, it makes sense to select a quarterback. Yeah, because this guy here could potentially go with Dak. Yeah, I'm going to go with Dak right now. All right, we got Dak and CeeDee Lamb. We got that little stack there. Cool, cool, cool. I feel all right about that. But yeah, Dak, Josh Jacobs, Kamara, CeeDee Lamb, Marvin Harrison, DK Metcalf. I think we got some strong starting wide receivers, which makes me feel better about not having too many wide receivers on the bench. We do have Rome Odunze, who I really like, but our running backs, Pacheco, Eckler, Braylon Allen, I think everyone has some upside there. And some starting appeal, which is what you're hoping for when you're selecting running backs, like outside of the 6th, 7th round, right? Now we do need a tight end. We do need a tight end. And this point, it's like, all right, who are the guys that you believe? Jake Ferguson could also be a guy in Dallas that benefits from this. I know most people are going to point to CD and to George Pickens, but Jake Ferguson's in that category as well. I don't want to load up on too many Dallas Cowboys. I've already got Dak and CD, so we'll wait. I'll make tight end my last pick. Keenan Allen, it's really tempting. Jalen Coker for the Panthers without Adam Thielen. He's going to be fitting into that slot position. I'm good on running backs. Yeah, let's show some love to Coker here. Where are you? Yeah, he's way, way, way down the rankings. Keenan Allen's a guy, that I think should be ranked higher as well. But here I'm mostly just kind of pointing this out as, for the purpose of highlighting guys that I think are ranked a little bit too low, putting them on your respective radars. Again, this is only a limited draft in regards to, how many rounds it would be compared to, a real draft. So I am picking some people earlier than you might be expecting. But I think that it's still to the benefit of all of this. So let's make our last selection. It'll be tight end. What guys do we want to go with tight end? Do we go with Kyle Pitts? Do we ride the Kyle Pitts Express and then pretend that in the next round we also get Brent Strange? I think that's what I'm going to do. God damn, Kyle Pitts. Is this the year with Penix? But, I mean, when you get to this point of tight ends, like it's pretty much a crapshoot. So let's go with Pitts, and we're going to wrap this thing up. I'm curious to see the draft grade we get. We get a B+. So, breaking it down, I know we waited on quarterbacks, but Dak is one of my favorite late-round flyers at quarterback, especially with the addition of Pickens, especially now considering how much, potentially Cowboys are going to be behind with that hit on the defense, airing out the football. So, yeah, Dak, all right. I like the value there. Jacobs, Alvin Kamara. I have question marks about Alvin Kamara, but look at our bench. Pacheco, Eckler, Braylon Allen. We could potentially sub him out. CeeDee Lamb. I'm high on Marvin Harrison. I'm high on DK Metcalf. So I think if you have differing opinions on the quality of the draft, it's probably going to be depending on how you feel with Harrison and DK Metcalf. And then obviously Kyle Pitts is an absolute fucking joke. But it's a situation where trying to just find something. If this was 2-3 rounds longer, I'd be getting other tight end talent. So keep that in mind. But hey, hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter X at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. But in the meantime, we'll see you guys in future videos.